Yes, good afternoon class. Good afternoon everyone. So yeah, we are here with another day's, so today's current affairs from paper Hindu. Good afternoon Kritika. I hope my voice is audible. Let's go with today's articles. I need to wait. Yes. So Biden visits cave, pledges more military assistance. So we haven't read anything about ongoing Russia and Ukraine war because it is an ongoing one. Once your exam is nearing, or if the war is going to end before your exam, then we will have a proper gist on what's happening during Russia and Ukraine. But as of now, what is this particular article is that Biden, who is the US president currently, he had surprisingly visited Ukraine and met Zelensky, who is Ukraine's president, and offered, and he has promised that $500 million in fresh arms deliveries, unwavering American support ahead of the first anniversary of Russia-Ukraine war. So before of this Russia-Ukraine war anniversary, first year anniversary, who Biden has promised that yes, we will be giving you $500 million worth military equipment. So that is in pledged by Mr. Biden. So that is about that article. So today lots of political news. So yeah. And today's editorial, if you are having this PDF, no, go through this editorial. This is important, okay? This is important. Of course, editorials will also be covered shortly, but yeah, for you to know. Coming to this article, so earlier the article which I have mentioned will come under your international relations GS3. So coming to this particular article, where a particular person, I'll tell you who is that also. So he is a self-styled Sikh preacher and pro-Khalistan propagator Amrit Pal Singh. He has speculated, and he was telling that cannot stop Khalistan movement, says the preacher. So what is this Khalistan movement? Important for your internal security. So Khalistan is a place in, these people are Sikh religion Sikh group. So these people are in a want of a separate sovereign state for Khalistan. Okay, so that is called Khalistan movement. And why this movement is important is that this particular movement is often speculated that Pakistan and other terrorist groups from different neighborhood countries are sponsoring this particular Khalistan movement in India. So it is trying to disturb the integrity framework or the peace of the country. So that is about this article. They are in demand of a separate sovereign state for Sikh people in Punjab region. Important for your internal security. When you are reading about your internal security, you will understand what is this about. Fine. So he speculated, he is told that currently no one can stop this particular Khalistan movement, despite the government is trying to have their own wish or whims or fantasies to stop or to eradicate this particular movement. Okay. So he said that the Khalistan movement could not be stopped from the flourishing if Union Home Minister Amit Shah described to stop it, let him fulfill his desire. So this is a political news, but here what is important is Khalistan movement as part of your internal security. That's why I have picked up this article. Entirely it is like accusing the government. So yeah, if the government of India is actually a secular government, then tell me the Prime Minister or Home Minister ever said will stop people asking about Hindu Rashtra. So he is comparing that if we are asking for Khalistan, so separate state, sovereign state, then is there any other government which has stopped or which has fought against people who are asking for separate Hindu Rashtra? So about a religious separate entity, if they are asking, then will the government be will the government be okay with that? So will the government still do the same way how they are treating us now? So they are treating them as, so if they come up with some violent activities, then definitely government will make them shut down. So they will try to go against this Khalistan people, like people of Sikhs. So that is why they are asking, if Hindu Rashtra, if people are demanding it, will you be reacting in the same way? That is what the question. But here the important concept is Khalistan movement, which you need to learn. Next, Godhra train burning case. Gujarat objects to bail plea to convicts. Bail plea of convicts. Now, what is this article and why they have, right now they have discussed about this. Godhra train burning. So, recently there was huge, a huge drama, and there was a question of right to speech and expression of media rights for the BBC news channel, where it has come up with a particular documentary series on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So it has questioned certain things about Gujarat riots 2002. This article is also important as far as your internal security is concerned, and Gujarat riots 2002 is again important for your internal rights or internal security issues. Okay. So what happened during this particular Godhra train burning? During 2002, what happened was, these Muslims people, around 1000 people, so in these 1000 people, around 30 people were actually accused, 31 or 32 people were accused. All these 1000 Muslims have attacked this particular train, which was this Godhra train burning accident in Gujarat. So it was stopped, it was about to stop in this particular railway station, and they started burning that one particular kupi in this train. So a train burning happened, and nearly 59 people were burnt alive, including women and children. So 59 people were burnt alive, and this is a communalism issue in India. So a riots between, or issue between different religions, but Hindu and Muslim. So in this particular thing, and this article says is that there was a plea asking for bail, issuing of bail for those people who were involved into this particular crime. Prime accused will be there, no? So prime, not accused, prime convicts. Prime convicts, 30 Muslims they have arrested, 31 convicts were arrested, and out of this 20 people were given life imprisonment, and the prime convicts around 12, so rest all the prime convicts, 11 prime convicts were given death sentence, but later on, after commutation, so by the pardoning powers, after committing, they have given them life imprisonment. So again they were also given life imprisonment. So currently the issue is that they have asked for bail for those people, which Gujarat government has, the state of Gujarat has not agreed for that, because that is not acceptable, right? So whatever it is, you can't take some other people's life, whatever the matter may be. So that particular issue, and this is the backdrop of the BBC channel's interview of PM Narendra Modi, which has been blocked currently, because it might again trigger some kind of violations in the city. This did not stop here. After this Godhra train incidents, people will claim. So even now when I'm explaining here, started by Muslims. So some violent Muslims have started this. They were also triggered because of the ongoing political drama which has supported Hindus. Fine, but with this related, the next 3 years have saw huge violent communalist activities, huge riots in different parts of India, especially North India. So after this, there is a report which has been launched, which has showcased that around 2000 people were killed. Around 1900 to 2000 people were killed only because of this communist issues, communist attack, okay, in which maximum people were killed from Muslims only. So yeah, these people who have done the mistake, fine, but how should be the innocent people be affected by this? That you need to understand. So around 2000 people got died, and this is not a simple issue. That is the another reason why they have blocked that particular news or that particular series of BBC to be available to Indian public, because it might further trigger those people who have attacked. Some people who have lost their loved ones, they might get triggered. Again, further communalism might take place. Communalist issues may take place. So that is the issue. They have blocked that particular BBC article, BBC series. Next, India-Italy I-Defense Pact during Meloni visit. So, Miss Meloni, she is again an Italian leader from Italy. She is going to visit India in this March. So, due to which we are going to have a defense type. So, we are going to have a defense meeting, and currently this will come in the backdrop of recently they have met with China. So, they have met with China and all. So, currently with Italy we do not have a positive relationship. So, here what we are going to do is that because of G20 she is going to visit India. We are trying to have a defense type, we are trying to have our issues sorted with Italy and work on our marines and other issues. So marinal border issues or any kind of issues that we have with Iran, we are trying to work it out, and we are going to frame a particular defense deal. And if it's not going to work out, if they are not going to settle by March, so March she is going to visit, if on March, where is it? On March 2nd she is going to visit. If not, it is going to be working out by then. Then again on September she will be further visiting for the G20 summit later. Then they will be again trying to sort it out. That is about this article, nothing more than that. So it is an opportunity for India, what? G20 to rebuild its strategies with different countries. Okay, that is about this article. You can just go through it. Nothing more is mentioned. EPFO guidelines to opt for higher pensions. So yeah. EPFO is your employees provident fund organization. So this organization, if you would have worked in any right now if you are working, so any other job that offers you pensions, okay. So provident fund is something like a deductions in your salary which would be later on kept, and an interest on your amount which has been deducted would be added from the government and would be given in your pensions. So that is your PF, provident fund. You have gratuity, all these beneficiaries will be there. So how this PF will work is that you can either claim half of the amount or full amount based on the requirement and based on the available schemes. There are a lot of schemes in this. You can just go refer EPFO website where you can find all the details. So not going in depth on this, and this is related to your GS2 governance part. And this EPFO is currently under news, like for over a week they are talking about it. That's why I have taken this. That is why I have taken this particular article. Here, several days of discussions. They have issued a circular. Who? EPFO have issued a circular for the onset of instructions to implement on November 4th. On what? For high pensions. So, if at all I am an employee, I need more pensions. Like I need lot of beneficiaries post my retirement. I need to set myself free. So then you can add on. So with the existing PF cutoffs, you can also add on that, yes, I am opting for higher PF. So for that they need certain guidelines on, suppose now I am in a current one plan, now I need to shift into the plan where I can have lot of cuttings, okay. So for that they are trying to give one particular bill. So a Supreme Court on verdict on higher provident fund pension. So what happened here? So I will just read out this particular paragraph so you can understand. So after several days, EPFO issued a circular on Monday on its regional offices with a set of instructions to implement November 4th. By November 4th, the Supreme Court verdict on higher provident fund pension. So it enlists or it lists all the procedures required for the document for existing employees for those who retired after 2014. So it is not only about the existing employees, it is the people who have been retired after September 1st, 2014. They can opt for higher pensions 2014 to claim higher pension based on their actual salary beyond the prescribed ceiling of employees pension form in 1995. So there would be present in one particular regime of pensioners. So upon this they are going to offer more pensions which is applicable to existing people who have retired also from 2014. So that is about this article, okay. So that joint claims and all, how it will be there, paragraphs, everything is mentioned. No need to go that depth, but single reading will suffice, okay. Just go through this article and it will be enough. So they have given an option where people can opt for this joint option of higher pensions as well as the existing pension is the cutoffs and what would be the future benefits, everything will be explained, where you have to give a written consent form to your employer that yes, we are okay with these cutoffs. And for that particular year of retirement, when you are going to retire, based on the interest that they have fixed, you will be given your beneficiaries, okay. That is about this article. Next. Yes, next. So constantly I was also describing about, so apart from this I was also describing that your food inflation is high, retail inflation is high. So retail inflation is calculated by your consumer price index, whereas your other, other details are being calculated by wholesale price index. At the producer level, if you calculate your inflation, that is your wholesale price index, and when you calculate with the products of services, and at the end of the consumer level end, that will be your consumer price index inflation again. So that will be your retail inflation. That is a basis of your retail inflation. Okay, just to giving clarity, because so many days it has come in your news, so I just wanted to give clarity. Yes, Center may notify emissions trading schemes by June. Sectors will be given energy efficiency targets. Companies that exceed these targets will get credits that they bank or sell firms that fail to meet the targets. So I will explain this article so that you will understand. If you only read, it will not be understood. So what happened here? Now, first let me tell you the global scenario. Environment concerns are there. What are these concerns? That climate change is a concern, global warming is a concern. So we have certain targets for carbon emissions. So it should not be exceeding that. So suppose, let's say, compare India with some other small countries. So let's say Bhutan and India. I have already told when I am discussing about the in international relations, when I have discussed about Bhutan is almost eco-friendly state, eco-friendly country basically. So it has all the green economy wise or environmental friendly infrastructure. So the carbon emission from that country is very much less. So it is, if a particular international body has fixed a target of carbon emissions, is definitely it is exceeding that limits. Are you able to understand? For suppose, let me tell, I need only carbon emissions, speculations again, completely it's not a data. Let's say 10 would be my border. I have given different parameters on this ranking of 10. So I will tell you should be having at least this 10 as a level of lessing your carbon emissions. So if Bhutan has exceeded or environmentally it is already in less emissions, then it will have some credits which are called carbon credits. That means than the given limit, if it is consuming less carbon. So beyond this, what I will give sanctions to that particular country which is exceeding this limit. Okay, so in a country like Bhutan, it has a very less target. Okay, I mean it is very less than the given target. What? Carbon emissions. So whatever the target that it has been left over than the achievable one, for that I will be giving some carbon credits. Now India is a country which can always be beyond the set limit. Okay, beyond the set limit, India will always be in the carbon emission huge compared to others. So now I can trade with Bhutan. Now Bhutan has this carbon credits. So I will pay some amount to Bhutan and I will buy these credits so that I can exceed the limit. Why I can? So if I am doing this, the sanctions from the global arena will be reduced. If I am exceeding this limit, definitely I will have global sanctions. I need to pay more taxes or more fine for using carbon credits. So what I will do, I will have a particular agreement with some countries which are having this carbon credits, where I will exchange their certificates so that I will pay them less, then I will use my carbon emissions more. Are you able to understand? Same thing, this is already existing in global arena. Now what India is doing is, that particular trading of this carbon credits will be introduced by June. Are you able to understand or not? So by June, they will be introducing such that they will give certain sectors. So how here people are going to be divided? Different manufacturing units are there, different industries, different, not services basically, industries. Different manufacturing industries will be there. They will be divided, suppose aluminium or any other manufacturing industry. Based on their emissions, they will set a particular target. So beyond this, if you reach, you are breached and you will be having certain kinds of fines. Or you need to have certain targets to meet a particular target. If you are unable to meet, then you should have a positive agreement with some other carbon credited industries. For suppose, I will tell you here, I will show you, where is this? See, sectors, for example, aluminium, cement, fertilizers would be given energy efficiency targets. So all these sectors will be given energy efficiency targets, and this, whatever the sectors that needs to be charged, yet to be decided. I will be telling you what are the companies or what are the bodies that are head of it also. First let me tell the core details, then let me go to the other ones. So the companies that were able to exceed these targets would get credits or certificates that they could go to bank or to sell a companies that fail to meet the targets. So target will be that your carbon emission should be less than this. If you are achieving the target, that is fine. So you are near to it, that is fine. But you are far more less than that. You need to understand this is completely opposite which they have mentioned here. So your certificate, carbon certificate is something if they given you certain target and if you are reaching only that target. Suppose if they told that 100 only should be your carbon emissions. So you are under 100. So you reached that target. More than that you are not there. So if you are in 92, it is less than the given targeted value. So you have achieved your target. Are you able to understand? So in that way they have achieved the target. So they will be given some carbon credits. So here such carbon credits can be traded to those companies which fail to achieve the target. So why should they be taxing this carbon emissions is two things, two mottos behind this. Number one, now being a company, what I would, so let me assume that I am a CEO of one manufacturing company. What my mentality would be there is, I want maximization of profit. I don't care about the environmental friendly nature, anything else. Why? At the end, I am running a business, so I need maximum profits from that. Now, if such kind of levying is there, then environmental friendliness will be there in my mind because I need to lessen my expenditure, right? So, in order to lessen my expenditure, I will turn towards eco-friendly nature. Are you able to understand? So, I will turn my buildings or my whatever the manufacturing thing that I have, I will try to minimize the emissions. So, to involve the public, basically the industries or manufacturing units, turning towards environmentally friendly is the target. That is number one. Number two, now assume that, so there are different manufacturing industries. The manufacturing industries which are emitting less would mostly be small sector or MSME sector. Very less emissions are from these MSME sector only. Huge emissions will be with bulk. Comparatively, I am telling comparatively, despite MSME is also contributing to large carbon emissions, when this company, big bulk companies, if you compare, it is very much less. So, when they are trading, when these MSMEs or the small industry companies are trading these carbon credits, they can get a side income for this. Are you able to understand? So, it is indirectly inducing money, circulating money into the economy. So, these two are the targets of, or these two are the underlying reasons for this credit scheme, carbon credit scheme. Okay, fine. So, for that, who are the people responsible? Two ministries, Ministry of Power and Ministry of Energy. Just let me go to top. Where is this? So, Ministry of Energy and let me see, yeah, Ministry of Power and Environment, sorry. So, Ministry of Power, Energy, Power and Environment, both together will be working on setting up a target level for this carbon emission. At the same time, Bureau of Energy Efficiency will be the apex body for seeing on or for completely dealing with, coordinating with these particular activities. Okay, so it will check on bodies which failed the complaints, all these things. So you can just see, and yesterday also I have discussed that India has this particular target of 500 gigawatts by 2030 from renewable source of energy. To achieve that, this is also a motto, right? So whenever I am working in, suppose I am a manufacturing unit head, then I will turn towards renewable energy. Why to pay or why to ask for some other people for credit guarantee or for credit transfer? Carbon credit transfer, why should I go for? Instead of, I can have a permanent investment on renewable energy source. So, triggering any renewable energy usage in the society. Understood? So, that is your third intention. Fine. Next. So, only Parliament can amend the law. Very important for your polity. So, very few articles would be more important for your polity, despite having Supreme Court all the time in news. Very few articles are very important. So, in this is one such article. Only Parliament can amend the law to provide uniform marriage age. So, currently there is a growing thing from different states that we will be increasing the age of women for marriage from 18 to 21 years old. So, there are different, again, negative speculations, positive speculations for this, but the main issue here is they have approached Supreme Court on giving your own opinion, like what should be, can you frame this? So, there is nothing, so some people have went to ask for the opinion of Supreme Court on increasing of marriage age. in lines with men. So what Supreme Court has told is that it is only the parliament which can decide on the age. So legislatures should legislate the law. It's not the judiciary part. So they are mentioning here one particular statement. So who is the custodian of constitution? Judiciary is the custodian of the constitution. Now Mr. Justice Chandrachud, D.Y. Chandrachud has told that it's not only judiciary that is a custodian, it is the legislature too which is the custodian of constitution. Important, which you can directly add where if there is any judiciary breach or judicial overreach, so in such cases you can mention that it is not only the judiciary which is custodian of the constitution, it is the responsibility, equal responsibility on the heads of legislators too. So here clearly they have mentioned that the ultimate wisdom of the parliament is the one which should decide on the marriage age increase for women or not. Okay. So here we should not perceive that we are the exclusive custodians of the constitution. The parliament is equally the custodian of the constitution. So it is the parliament that is which is playing the equal role to the judiciary in framing laws or in maintaining, in being a custodian for constitution. So the parliament can amend the law to provide uniform marriage age. However desirable is the power to do so lies with the parliament and it is not on her head. That is what judiciary has given clarity. Okay. Fine. So there was a petitioner. So that he has told that to that particular petitioner advocate Ashwini Upadhyay on this. Okay. Fine. Next. Where Mr. Upadhyay has asked to strike down 18 as a minimum age of this marriage. He has asked. So we can strike it down, saying that 18 years is a minimum stipulated age. We can strike it down, but judiciary, where Supreme Court has reacted very strongly, saying that it is in the hands of parliament, not us. It's on their head. It's their responsibility. Next, judiciary can't take a call on anomalies in the grounds of divorce. So another similar case. Okay. So if you have any doubts, you can stop me anywhere. I don't know, people are not asking me anything today. Fine. So yeah, Supreme Court on Monday said that it would examine how far that the judiciary intervene in making divorce proceedings gender and religion neutral. So thing is that there was again another petition asking that why can't we remove these anomalies on the grounds of divorce. So on these grounds of the divorce, just a moment. So we have for each particular, these marriage laws and all are religion specific. Still we don't have this UCC which is not guaranteed but yet is one of the targets of government mentioned in your DPSP article number 44. In 44 there is a provision of Uniform Civil Code in article 44. Yes, but it is not guaranteed or it is not something which is justifiable. So it is in the heads or in the responsibility of the upcoming or the current legislatures or executives to take action towards UCC. Okay. So currently what is the issue is that they have asked why can't we remove, being a judiciary, being a head, why can't we remove these anomalies? Why can't we have a standard thing that neutrality in divorces? For example, if a divorce is there, automatically the law or existing things suggest that yes, she is the sufferer. So she needs divorce. So it is like a gender specific thing which is being mentioned. Are you able to understand? In different particular, suppose let's say even the domestic violence, it mentions clearly that it is she, not he. Why? A man cannot be undergoing any domestic violence. So you should not be a particular gender specific article or gender specific law. It should be something that is gender neutral. So they have asked that, Supreme Court said that it would examine on how far it could judiciary intervene in make judicial proceedings gender and religion neutral. So it is not only about the gender neutral, religious neutral too. So it is about the UCC as well as gender equality, both. Okay. So while adding a rider that it in a prima facie felt the government and the legislature have to take the call ultimately. So what is this prima facie? In the initial examination, so in the initial impression, that is your prima facie. Initially judiciary felt that we don't know how far we can use this, but we strongly feel that it is legislatures or the parliament which has to decide on what should be the proceedings for divorce and which should be gender or religious neutrally. So it is under the responsibility of Parliament and not us. What is this? My prima facie. Whose prima facie? Judiciary's prima facie. Supreme Court's prima facie. Yet it has told that let us examine how far we can go or what should be our level of responsibility in framing this. So that is what they have meant. Everything is same, so you can just go through this. So yes, see, we will see how far we can go. Says who? D.Y. Chandrachud, Chief Justice Chandrachud. Next. Cereal prices likely to stay elevated going to next physical. So recently we have seen that cereal prices have been spiking up. So I told that retail inflation, food inflation is been spiking up. So currently in that particular speculations they have mentioned that this price of cereals are unlikely to rise further. So further there might be no chance. See, prices are no chance to rise further witnessed in the recent past. They remain elevated well into the next fiscal. So this year, this would be this fiscal year fine. So the next fiscal year it might be elevated. Next, so vagaries of climate change, strong global domestic demand rating agency CRISIL said. So this particular CRISIL is a rating agency which showcases the growing inflation. So it has speculated that this physical, this might be the level of increase in your cereals despite having a huge inflation. But in the next physical, there might be huge elevations in these price indexes. And it has stated the reasons like it can be due to strong global and domestic demand, climatic change and climatic change, that's what they have mentioned. Next. Will continue efforts to curb inflation. So I have told recently that the RBI's retail inflation, what is this? Again I told you, consumer price index, that is the one which is being taken as an index to construct this retail inflation. So this retail inflation has seen 6.52% hike, which is more than the speculated or more than the targeted inflation. So we have an inflation targeting which is from 2 to 6%, like accepted range is 4 plus or minus 2% to be precise, given by RBI. So where 4 minus 2 is 2%, where 4 plus 2 is 6%. That is the extreme end of your RBI's inflation targeting in the country. So currently this target has reached more than 6, so more than 6 the retail inflation is there. So what our finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman has told that we will try to curb this inflation this fiscal year, because this quarter is going to end in March. So again from March you will be having another quarter. So before that you need to make sure that this particular inflation is under curb or under targeted one. So she has also mentioned that the government increased the import of edible oil as required to rein inflation and provided free gains to the poor since COVID-19 pandemic and continuously monitoring prices. She has again showcased that it is because of all these reasons why inflation targeting was beyond the range which we have speculated. That is what this article is. Okay, fine. So yes, I told you 2 to 6%, which is actually precisely 4 plus or minus 2% by RBI. So the RBI will take necessary steps to manage inflation within expected limits. So within 6% it should be there. So that is about this article. Next. Microbium linked to autism disorders. So, ma'am, thoda dhir. Dhir means slow. So you want me to slow down? Mr. You can speak to me in English. I am comfortable with that. COPIA is there. Ma'am, thoda dhir. Fine. Fine, I will slow it down. I will understand it as dhir in the sense you want me to slow it down. Fine. Okay. The microbiome linked to autism disorders. So yeah, what is this about? Autism is a disease. What happened? Okay. So autism is something. Let me go to the gist. Then I will explain you what is autism. See, according to WHO, autism spectrum disorder affects 1 in 100 children. So what is the probability? 1 in 100. 1 in 100 children autism is visible. Okay. So the children with ASD have impaired social interactions, so they will be unable to interact well with the society. So they are mostly introverted and they are a bit different from the normal people. So they are also normal people, but the way how they react or how they are they be far from interaction, first of all. Next, lack verbal or non-verbal communication skills. So they try to stumble a lot when they are speaking. They are unable to even hold hands, or they are unable to speak well. So they try to stumble and they try to repeat whatever they say, whatever the other person say. All these are the autism disorder features. Okay. So yeah, and display restricted or repetitive behaviors. That's what repetitive behaviors or display restricted. So some people, or you would have seen if people with autism, mostly they will be having spectacles. So they have a less or a blurred vision, and they would be repeating whatever they say. So that is one kind of issue with autism child. So here, what does this article say is that, what is this gut microbiome that you need to know. So in your intestines, in your intestines, you have this good bacterium. So good microbe or microorganisms, which will help for a positive direction, for positive digestions, or all these different. Basically, its main aim is for digestion, right? So this gut microorganism, microbiome is, that can be your bacteria, virus, fungus, whatever it is, or the good bacterium that is present in your gut. Okay. So in this particular place, what they have found is there is some link between this gut microbiome and ASD disorder. That is what they found. So what is this link? We will see. They have identified that in their research, but this is yet to be developed. It's not complete. They have just given it that we have found one particular breakthrough with which we have to further research on. Okay. So they have told that we observed dysbiosis and imbalance in the gut microbiome of children with ASD. So the autism, whoever or the child, they have seen this dysbiosis where this gut microbiome is not in the existing rate. It is more than that. So they had a higher abundance of lactobacilli, bifidobacteriaceae, and sorry with my pronunciation, and villanoceae bacteria. So these three are the positive or good bacterium, okay, or good microbiome basically, which help for your digestive purposes. So clearly here, what is the issue? These people are having it in abundance compared to the regular one. So that they have found in this research. So now they are trying to work out, what if we reduce it to the optimum level compared to the other people. So if we reduce, will their ASD will be reduced or not? So that is the current research going on. So you need to keep yourself updated whatever the research is going on. Yes. Okay. So yeah, here the fraction of bacteria phylum Firmicutes was found to be significantly higher in the guts of children with ASD. So clearly visible that with these people, that particular gut microbiome is very huge. So now they are trying to find some kind of relation with that. So we are not going into the way how they would treat this. So they will take this gut microbiome from stool of some other people, from other children, and they'll try to inject into this particular gut. So there are some specifications which are not required. So the gut microbiome is believed to have a big impact on immune modulation and metabolic activities in the human body. So this microbiome which is present in our body, it is giving, or it has a large impact on our metabolism. Our metabolism activities, basically our digestion, how we do it in every day, and our immune modulation, so how we are immune towards diseases. For all this gut microbiome is responsible, and among other things, to the efforts of immune system to ensure its response is proportionate to a threat. So beyond the existing level is also a threat. To a level it is fine, but more than that, again an issue. Investigations of the dynamic crosstalk between the gut microbiome and the host environment has revealed potential connections with ASD symptoms. So when they have understood that definitely there can be some kind of relation with ASD and gut infection, they have understood that yes, this gut microbiome, if to an extent it is fine, but more than that it is causing some threat to human body. So what if we reduce? On this they are currently working on. Okay, fine. And they have also told that it is our speculations, it is through our research, we are not currently sure of it. Next. So reinstating a balance in the gut microbiome and reversing the gut dysbiosis among children with ASD could have alleviate these problems they face, improve their quality of life. So what they are trying to do, they are going to reverse it. So whatever the existing microbe count for them is there, they are going to reduce it. With that they are trying to establish, or they are trying to make this autism reduced in children. Okay. So that is entirely entire gist again is mentioned in a clear way. So yeah, I have mentioned everything which I need to express. So you can just go through this article. Everything is, whatever I told, everything is again mentioned here in detail. Yes, next. Can we use moon dust to slow down global warming? Climatic change. So that particular article is important for your GS3, science and technology, health part. This particular article again important for your GS3, for your environment. So what is this article about? Why can't we use dust from moon to scatter on or near to the surface of earth so that it would obstruct the light or the incoming solar radiation from sun, so that it would protect the earth from global warming, from this changing or adverse effects of climatic change. Here the issue is that, fine, we can do that, and who has told this? US researchers. So if we go to the gist, you will be able to understand. The researchers from US have proposed that billions of tons of dust can be launched from the moon to a point in space where the earth and sun's gravitational fields can cancel each other out. So the level of incoming radiation and the gravitational pull can be cancelled out so that it would form a particular obstruction, a kind of obstruction. It would create a not transparent but a translucent mask around earth, so that it is obstructing the incoming radiation from sun, so that the dust will thus be parked there, casting a shadow on earth, dimming sunlight to offset carbon emissions. So carbon emissions would be reduced when the solar radiation is reduced. That is what US researchers have speculated, have come up with one particular research. For this, what is contradicting? What can be the other worst possibilities because of this? Now, that speaking about carbon emissions, everything is fine. What about the agriculture? If the incoming solar radiation is not there than the existing rate, then will you be able to cultivate anything during your winter season or during other seasons? So there will be reduced growth in your crops. So already the world is inflating with its population. Then how can the food security be aligned with when you are parking or when you are masking earth with dimming of light of sun? So yes, so here many climate models have confirmed that dimming the amount of incoming sunlight with stratospheric aerosols will lead to the lower yield in crops and disease and starvation. So it would also, so if right now almost 1 in 4 women, they face with vitamin D issues, what is this? Deficiency, thank you. So vitamin D deficiency they are facing with. Why? Because we are not going into sun, going near to sun. When sun is properly available itself, we are not going to sun, and still we are facing with some kind of diseases with a lack of vitamin D, which would again impact your immune system. So now wantedly covering it would again lead to further diseases and would make us more immune to further pandemics. So many natural as well as social scientists have expressed grave concerns about this SRM science and governance. So what is this SRM? See, the solar radiation management. So this particular article is about how we should not, why we should not be going to this particular SRM, this radiation management, why should we not be going into it. Just go through it. And cool summer will be there, but which will lead to the crop reduce, crop yield would be reduced, crop size would be affected, diseases would increase. So than the given stipulated restrictions of climate, if it is increasing, it is a danger, if it is decreasing, again it is a danger. That is about this research article. Okay. So yeah, that's all. You can just go through. I am giving you all short just so that you can read out later. Next. Yes. More saber rattling, more isolation, militarization of South China Sea. So yeah. So before going to this, I need to show you this. Just a moment. Just a moment, I will show you the map, then we will come back to this. This is more clear, right? Count, how many are there? 9 dashes are there. So, China is claiming that our territory of China with the water, whatever is there in South China Sea is completely Chinese. So, we can also claim whatever is Indian Ocean is ours. No, no. Even Chinese or other bordering countries also share equal rights with Indian Ocean. Despite naming as Indian Ocean, still they also have their own rights. That can be for trade or that can be for their sovereign land. Anything, they have their own rights too. In the same way, by naming South China Sea, they are claiming that this 9 dash line. So, if you can see, 9 dashes are there. They claimed that these 9 dash line, wherever it exists, till wherever it goes, till there it is Chinese territory. So, no other people can trade without acknowledgement from China. So, here there is an issue where here you have Philippines, right? So, here somewhere, let me go there, I need a world map. See, in this particular area only. So, you have here bulk of islands, which is your Philippines. They went to UNCLOS. What is UNCLOS? United Nations Convention on Law of Sea. Okay. So, Law of the Sea, they went there and they have asked that China is claiming for this 9 dash line where it is affecting our own trade policies in South China Sea. It is restricting ourselves from entering into the South China Sea. But, so UN UNCLOS, these people have given a statement that whatever the China claims as 9 dash line is a completely baseless allegations and it belongs to all the other bordering countries too. That is what UNCLOS has told. But China has claimed that that particular judgment is null and void. So, we won't accept that. Now, the problem is international law of sea itself has told that, the Convention of Law of Sea has told that yes, that is completely baseless. But why China is still claiming it? Again, the growing economy and growing footprint of China on other countries. So, almost every other countries, bordering countries or some other countries in this Asian region or some or the other way in debt circle or debt cycle of China. So, China will offer huge loans and then it will ask for this debts, debt recovery. Okay. So, here if any other country in the Asian countries is trying to question it, it would further ask for the reclaiming or for the again taking back their loans, okay, for the reissue of their loans. So, here the issue comes in that way where other countries are still against of this particular 9 dash and they are unable to question. That is about this article. So, they mentioned that yes, and this South China Sea, again why China is that much showing interest towards South China Sea, that is important again. Why? Because it is important for littoral countries, not only just littoral countries, it has a transit point for trade since medieval times. From medieval times, they used to have trade relations from South China Sea, which contains abundantly rich fisheries and a repository for mineral deposits and hydrocarbon reserves. This is the place why China is focusing about. It is not only about the income from fisheries, income from mineral resources, mainly hydrocarbon reserves. So, they are trying to have or going deviated from the other Western countries' dependence or the Gulf country dependence for oil reserves. You need to understand. For crude oil purpose, they don't need to go to some other countries asking for imports. So, in near time, if the Gulf country says we don't have oil, then definitely they need some backup. That is why they are focusing that yes, this is plus this particular area belongs to us. So, that is what the far-sightedness of Chinese people have. Littoral countries, I will show you in the map. First, let me search here and I will tell you. Basically, thing is that different countries are there in littoral areas, but near to this ocean, in that border. I can show you the map, no problem. See this? All these are littoral countries for Indian Ocean. In the same way, there also they have littoral ocean, littoral countries in that particular South China Sea. So that is your littoral countries. So it doesn't benefit only them, it benefits other countries too, which are near to it. That is what this article says. Now here the problem is, yeah, as I told you, even the Asian countries people, there is a C, even the countries of Asian, which belongs to this Asian international group, they are also unable to question China because of the growing footprint of Chinese government on these particular Asian countries. You need to understand that. So yeah, but in the near future they will definitely question when they have backup from some other countries. So yeah, what should India be doing? What are the relevant points with India that you need to know? Of course, with Indian Ocean, other countries too have certain rights. In the same way for South China Sea, we can also claim certain rights. That is this article says. From Indian perspective, foreign and security policy in its larger neighborhood covers entire expanse of Asia Pacific and extends to Persian Gulf and West Asia. So India is placed in such a way that it extends to all the different arenas. So if you go into west, if you go into east, different oceans are there, right? India is placed in the middle. See, it straddles. That means it is placed in the middle of the fulcrum of a region from Suez and Shanghai. So in the west you have Suez and in the right you have Shanghai. Okay, that is in China. So east, west and east Asia, and between the Mediterranean Sea and this South China Sea. Strategically, India is placed in such a way that if you go to the west, you have Mediterranean Sea. Then in east, you have the South China Sea. So West Asia and East Asia, India is exactly in the middle, if you can see in the model, in India map. So the SCS carries merchandise to and from India. It follows that India has a stake in SCS just as China in the Indian Ocean. That is what I told you. However, the China is having, in whatsoever the China is having certain rights on Indian Ocean, the same way India also have rights in South China Sea, because we have certain kinds of exports and imports towards that particular places also. So yeah, India must continue pursue its defense diplomacy outreach in Indo-Pacific region. So we have to protect our borders. Being in the neighborhood country, we should make sure that our maritime security is also well protected. So we need to have our own defense diplomacy in Indo-Pacific region too. Okay. So yeah, increase military training, conduct exercises and exchanges at a higher level of complexity, extend humanitarian assistance, of course, disaster management assistance, relief funds. We are the first country to react when Turkey and Syria was affected very badly. We have sent our sources. So today there is one news that where our Prime Minister has also told that we are the first among one of the first countries which we have reacted towards disaster management reliefs towards Turkey and Syria. So yeah, we have all these things, then share patrolling with the Malacca Strait, with the littoral countries, the comprehensive strategic partnership that India has with Australia. So we have different kinds of trade relations, right? Strategic partnership, comprehensive strategic partnership. So all these we have with comprehensive strategic partnerships we have with Australia, Japan, Indonesia, US and Vietnam. So with these countries too we have this relation. So definitely we have certain stake with South China Sea. So yeah, could be extended to Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand and Singapore too. So that is about our India's speculations. It also butters the military capacity of the Tri-Service of Andaman Nicobar Command, and according to one of its early commander-in-chief has the manner in which 368 islands have been neglected and can be termed as criminal. So here the thing which is important is that India should focus on all these other littoral countries too, to gain its prominence in SCS. That is what they say. So here we need to maintain our maritime security in these particular areas. That is what this article says. Okay, clear? So these have immense geostrategic value as they overlook Asia's maritime strategic lifeline and the world's most important global sea lane. In this time turbulence, India cannot afford to continue undervailing its biggest assets. So we cannot compromise, despite China being one of the strongest economies competitive to India. Still, we should not compromise on one of the biggest assets which we have, which is your South China Sea trade. Okay, so that's about these articles. So that's it for today. If you have any doubts, you can ask me, else we can wind up the session. Any more doubts so far? Online, offline? Yes, please tell me if you have any doubts. And if you want me to discuss any other topics too in current affairs, I am open for that. I'll make a note of it and yes, we can discuss later. Clear, ma'am. Great. So yeah. that's it for today. If you have any other topics to be discussed, we can go ahead with that. We'll see tomorrow. Thank you for the session. Good day.